Hi YouTube, this is Rose, and this video is Epstein victim Jessica Collins claims I was forced into sex with Joe Biden and John McCain. That's right, folks. We've got an actual testimony that I will be playing here in just a second. She also makes some other claims, like Deborah Palfrey, aka the DC Madam, trafficked me to Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor in 2002. They drugged and raped me. Jonathan Luna, who was murdered a year later, drove me there. She's making quite a few claims on these tweets. I was raped by Washington, D.C. politicians. They murdered my daughter. That is why I'm speaking out. Joe Biden and John McCain and many others are involved, and they allowed me to speak because they know Americans will not believe me. Well, that much and more. So let's get started, folks.
I am a real victim of Jeffrey Epstein. The reason you don't see me in the news is because I am a real victim. Real victims are not being represented by attorneys or in the media. I was trafficked to Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor by Deborah Palfrey, the DC Madam. I was a student at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. in 2002. I answered an ad in the city paper. The ad was ambiguous. Deborah was professional. I thought I was going on a real job interview. Instead, I was drugged and raped by Paul Hung. I tried to tell Deborah what happened, but something she said made me realize she knew what happened. At that point, they had my driver's license, and I did not know what to do or where to go for help. At that point, I was driven by Jonathan Luna to the Bethesda Marriott on Pook's Hill, where Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor drugged and raped me. I have tried to get help. I called the police. I was abducted for 2 weeks. I was moved from Washington, D.C. by Ed Norris, who was the superintendent of the Maryland State Police. He is now an actor on the show The Wire and has a radio show. My name is Jessica Collins. I live in Virginia. Today is September the 3rd, 2019. If anything happens to me, it's because this information is true, and I have a lot more information about who I was trafficked to in the government, people who are in the White House today. If you could redistribute this video, please save it and redistribute it. If anything happens to me, at least I have this out. I have been threatened. My car was disabled by a government employee when the Jeffrey Epstein news broke. I have been without a vehicle for 40 days. I don't know what else to say. Please save this video. Please redistribute it. Please try and spread it. There is no way that this is going to get out there in the media unless we, the American people, do the work. The government is involved, and I was trafficked for nearly 17 years. Please try to help by redistributing this, tweeting it, talking about it. I'll do everything that I can. Thank you for listening. I hope that together we can get to the bottom of this and hold the criminals accountable.
Very interesting, right, folks? I have absolutely no idea really what to think of this. I'm going to leave the link, and now I'm going to add a video on this DC Madam.
Jean was really a feisty, tough, empowered woman who didn't at all seem to me like the kind of person who would take her own life.
After Jean's suicide, there was widespread speculation that she harbored some secrets about some very powerful people here in Washington.
The D.C. madam, a woman who powerful men feared for what she knew about them. Was it really suicide? The internet is going bonkers with this one.
When Jean Palfrey was found hanging in this shed, there was plenty of speculation that she'd been killed for what she knew, except that people who knew her the best said she had a really specific reason for taking her own life.
Jean had already spent some time in prison, and she was really afraid of going back there. She hated the experience of being in jail, and she was really determined to never go back to jail.
I ran a very legitimate business. Fantasy, truly, absolutely 100% sexual. I have nothing to hide.
Okay, so that was the DC madam. Let me know what you think. I find this story incredibly interesting, to say the least. A real victim of Jeffrey Epstein, Andrew Windsor, and many more in D.C., Washington. I am being silenced. Okay, so she says this guy has disappeared without a trace. Jeffrey's pal and many more are doing the same. She also claims Epstein is not dead. Deborah Palfrey, D.C. madam, is not dead. They are both in witness protection as a matter of national security. And as you watch that video of the D.C. madam, remember, they said that she was found hung. Same thing as Jeffrey. But we all know in that place where Jeffrey was at, you can't just move the bed like you can in the Terminator.
Next patient is interesting. The delusional architecture is fairly unique.
Good morning, Dr. Silberman. How's the knee?
It doesn't work that way, only in the movies. So I find this incredibly interesting. Just had to share it with you guys. I really don't know how much, truth it carries, but I just, like I said, I want to share it with you. A lot of good reading here, folks. And thank you for your precious time. I love each and every one of you. I hope that we can all remember how very precious the breath of life that we have been given is, right? Amen? Okay, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye.